do you have a reaction to what's going on in Egypt today?
Just that it's an historic moment. I'm hopeful that a new government will emerge that is a democratic society and that will respect human rights and the rule of law. I mean, Egypt is one of the most remarkable civilizations in the history of the human race. It's a country with a tremendous culture, well-educated, people of enormous accomplishment, and we're pulling for them. And you had written, I hope that they use this moment of self-determination to bring about a democratic society with respect for human rights and the rule of law.
I saw you wrote about a week ago that you were sort of skeptical of the administration trying to push Mubarak too hard, and seemed like you were skeptical of the protesters. Do you still feel that way, or?
I don't remember expressing skepticism about the protesters, but I think it's a very delicate and fragile moment. And as we know, the Middle East is a tough neighborhood, and these kinds of transitions don't always go in the right direction. And we've certainly seen that in Gaza. We've certainly seen that in Lebanon. We've seen it in Iran.
So do you think
it is not a stretch to say that these outcomes are not always positive, not just in terms of U.S. interests, but in terms of democratic and human rights.
So do you think then the administration should be supporting democracy there, or doing something, trying to influence the outcome, and what should they be doing?
I think we should have made clear earlier than the administration did that we were on the side of the protesters. I think we should have made that abundantly clear. But I think we also need to make it clear that the right outcome, the outcome that will be best for Egypt, best for the Middle East, and best for civilized nations all over the world, is a democratic society with respect for human rights and the rule of law.
What about 2012? Do you like anyone in the field?
I like a lot of them, but it's early.
Any names?
I don't know who's going to ultimately get in or who's not ultimately going to get in, so I'm just going to wait and see as they all make their decision, and then I'll make my decision.
So is America less safe or safer with Mubarak out?
I don't think we know the answer to that question. I certainly think the opportunity is for, look, I'm a big believer that, as President Bush said, that freedom is not, America's gift to the world, it's God's gift to all of humanity. Mm-hmm. And I think the people in Egypt have the same right to self-determination, to freedom of expression, and to choose their own destiny and their own leaders that we have here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So we are on the side of the protesters, and we want to see a free society in Egypt, as we do in every other nation on the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. The only cautionary note, as I have said earlier, is, as we've seen in Lebanon, as we've seen in Gaza, as we've seen in Iran and some other places, the deposing of a regime that denied those rights does not always lead to greater freedom. And so I think we need to recognize that and recognize that it's a delicate and fragile moment. And we're pulling for the Egyptian people, and we trust that they're able to build that democratic society.